Hey everyone. Arr! The pirates are at it again! Arr! Arr! That's way too easy. Okay, so the Navy SEALs rescued Captain Phillips from a thwarted attempt to hijack an American flagged vessel in the Indian Ocean. This story has everything. Not only was this barge carrying like humanitarian aid, not only did the captain offer himself as a hostage to save his crew, who then overpowered the remaining hostages, not only did he attempt an escape on Friday, but then Navy SEALs parachute in and from an American military ship, sharpshooters, snipers, take out all three of the pirates at the same time to rescue Captain Phillips. I mean, this is a great story, right? I mean, the media has to love it. It's a fun story. But I'm wondering why this is so complicated. Every article I read says they can't put armed guards on these boats because on an oil barge, for example, a gunshot could trigger an explosion. Well, most of these hijacked boats aren't oil rigs. Okay, I understand that's an issue with an oil rig. So with an oil rig, a couple of boats accompany it. Maybe one on each side. Yes, it increases the cost. But so does paying ransoms. So does sending in the military to rescue crew members taken as hostage. The rest of the boats, put a couple of armed guards on there. Set a couple of booby traps. Be ready for these. Be ready for it. You know, I just don't think this problem is as difficult to solve as they're making it out to be. The difficult problem to solve is the fact that there's over like 300 merchant sailors being held hostage right now. So let's just put an end to this. Those guys come onto the boat, bam! They're ready for them. Put an end to this thing. Okay, now, that aside, this whole thing brings up the other problem of globalism. Look around. Most of the things you buy come from overseas. That's unnecessary. If most of our consumer goods did not come across that ocean, this wouldn't be much of a problem. It'd be much less of a problem. Now, I understand some exotic items need to come from overseas. But the vast majority of consumer items in the US, and Walmart, I'm talking about you, do not need to come from overseas. The only reason they need to come from overseas is so we can exploit slave labor. You know, just because it's another country doing it, if they're doing it because our dollar is paying for it, that makes us responsible for the slave labor as well. We are just as responsible for slave labor. Now, I'm not blaming all of you. I know I buy things that come from China as well. Because a lot of things we don't have any other option. Hey, you know what? I'm willing to pay more for American-made goods. They're going to last longer, and in the long run, it's going to cost me less. And I'm willing to pay more in the short term to also support American jobs and the American economy. I did a video about immigration where I said that people who came across the border from Mexico, undocumented, often do jobs Americans don't want to do. Well, I got a lot of feedback from people across the country who say that Americans are willing to do those jobs. So it's time to bring those jobs back to the US. Then we don't have to worry about pirates hijacking the ships bringing the goods across the ocean. This is just one more problem in globalism. Let's start producing as much as we can for our country, in our country, by our country. We are Americans. We should be self-sufficient. That's the bigger problem. As for the pirates, armed guards, away with them. Anyway, thanks for watching.